Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Kat, and I am the Bookish Halfling. And today is a very special day. I'm going to be talking about my book, The Raven's Revenge, the book I wrote and that I am querying with the hopes to someday soon traditionally publish. And we're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to start by reading you all the unofficial blurb that I wrote for it. After losing a bloody civil war, elves are reduced to the lowest class in the country of Curlif. But Slate Raven resists this new lifestyle and opposes the tyrannical laws, his sister Cal beside him on their pirate ship, the Raven's Revenge. After rescuing their younger sister Tinta from slavery, Slate and Cal hear of a lost ancient treasure. Rumors say it's magic, blessed by the gods. It's a perfect prize to win for Elfkind, if they can get there first. The adventure quickly becomes more than they bargained for as they sail into uncharted waters. Obstacles come at them from every direction. Sea monsters, harsh weather conditions, rival pirates. Slate fights doubts that any of this is worth it, and Cal contends with the crew only growing more agitated, while Tinta struggles to accept that her long-lost siblings are wanted criminals. But Slate continues to push forward, forcing his crew to their breaking point. Yet the closer they get, the farther away victory seems to be. Yeah. This book was begun in 2017 as a NaNoWriMo project, aka National Novel Writing Month, although technically unofficial because I didn't have an account on the website and I chose my own goal. But it was the idea. My original goal for the month was only 10,000 words because I was still pretty new to writing very much at all. But by the end of the month, I had reached nearly 30,000, so that was a lot for me at the time. I never quite completed that first draft, but I did I got most of it. It was approximately there. I worked on it a little bit off and on for the next few years while I mostly did other stuff, but by early 2021, I restarted it. I started an actual second draft and actually started a story way earlier in the timeline than I had originally planned. I started back in their backstories, and doing that was exactly what I needed to do. It helped me understand better who they were, where they came from, what their backstories actually were. And yeah, doing that, I actually finished a second draft and gave it to a couple of my sisters to read before I went on and wrote a third draft. Yeah, by 2022, the very beginning, I made it it became like my main story. Like this, I knew by early 2022 that this was a story I wanted to publish first, taking the place of a different one I've been working on. And yeah, through that year, I worked on it a ton. I wrote multiple drafts, edited it so much, had it beta read multiple times. It was great. It was a productive year for this book. And yeah, by the end of March 2023, I was ready to start querying. I sent out my first few letters and began the process. Jumped right into the query trenches. I went through some problems late 2023 when I had a bit of a crisis with the book because I realized I had previously been marketing it as a YA fantasy just because there was the content in it was perfectly YA acceptable. There was nothing in it I wouldn't want teenagers to be reading. But the characters are all grown adults. Like, none of the three main characters are teenagers. They're all in their 20s. And I figured I would probably do better marketing this, promoting it, querying it as an adult fantasy rather than a YA. So I switched some things up, took a little break from querying, and started again January 2024, this year. So yeah, it's an adult fantasy, but again, there's just mostly just because of the characters' ages. There's no content in it that I wouldn't want a teenager to read, as I said. Now let's take a moment to talk about the main characters, the Raven siblings, the heart and soul of this book. All three are like main characters. All three are point of view characters, but like the main character is absolutely Slate Raven, the middle child, the brother, the captain of this pirate ship. Slate Raven is. I will freely and gladly admit that Slate Raven is my favorite character that I've ever come up with, and I have come up with a lot of characters. There's just something about him. Like since he first appeared in my head, I knew exactly who he was, what he sounded like, what his voice was like, how to write him. It was amazing. Yeah, he's ruthless. He can be cruel. He can be harsh. What drives him is a need for revenge. Hence, the name of his ship and the name of the book, The Raven's Revenge. but he's also loyal, fiercely loyal, and protective of the ones he loves, particularly of his sisters. And he longs for real freedom, and sailing and being on a ship gives him that freedom that he craves, hence why he loves it so much. And in that way, with like all of those combined, he's kind of, I can kind of say he's like a mixture between Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean and Kaz Brekker from Six of Crows, which I think is pretty cool. So, the next one of them, the oldest sister, oldest of the three, Calraven. She is what's called a quartermaster aboard the Raven's Revenge, which means she just like keeps track of the stuff they steal and and the money that they're making, and like making sure it's divided evenly among the crew and all that sort of stuff. So like kind of a second in command. She's kind of like the second most important person on the ship. She is often cold and sarcastic. She can be kind of harsh. She is a great shot with her pistols, and she might just shoot you in a heartbeat for doing something she doesn't like. Despite all that, she's also very motherly inside, though she won't admit it, and it can be hard to see. But she deeply cares about those that she cares about, and like she will tell you to take care of yourself, or she might make you, you know. I realize she kind of reminds me a lot of Vi from Arcane. She's like the absolute like big sister vibes, but like she can beat you up. And lastly is the youngest sister, who is drastically different from her brother and sister, Tinta. She has a very different backstory from her siblings, and she is very quiet and reserved and very sweet and just wholesome. I love her. She's just adorable. She's very soft and compassionate, but she also has a hard time expressing herself sometimes. I like to compare her to Ella from Disney's 2015 live action Cinderella, because she's just so good and just so sweet and just the cutest. Just sunshine, cinnamon roll, you know, all that good stuff. One thing I love about this book is just the focus on the relationship between the three siblings and just the different dynamics the three of them have. But especially coming from a big family myself, I love the family sibling dynamics and relationships. It's so much fun for me to write about that, and it's a big part of this book is their relationships, and especially like getting to know each other again after having been apart for years due to their circumstances and things that have happened. And yeah, I love it. It's just so much fun. There is a little bit of romance in this. Romance isn't the focus of this book, but there is a side romance that I think is absolutely adorable and wholesome, and just it's more sunshine. It's just so sweet. Okay. And there may be another one, but we're not gonna talk about that one. There was a while where I tried to label this as like a dark fantasy, but it's really not. I realized more and more recently it's very much a light, fun fantasy, just like fun adventure, pirate vibes, like Pirates of the Caribbean, but like not quite, you know, just fun stuff. But like there's also moments that like they hit you in the feels, and you're like, wait, why did that hurt so much? You know, it's great. Yeah, that's my book. That's The Raven's Revenge. I hope it sounds interesting to you. I know I am obsessed with it. It is my baby. These characters are my babies, and I love them. And I am currently working on writing the sequel, because this is going to be a duology, just the two books for now. By the time I post this, I will hopefully have the second draft of the sequel finished and maybe even edited. We shall see. Again, I'm hoping to traditionally publish this, but I am open to potentially trying indie publishing if traditional doesn't work. Yeah, that's it. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments, and I will be happy to answer, because I'm always happy to talk about this book. And that's all. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.